welcome. I gotta change some names around. I am NjordGod. I'm Sean Flack
Your elf daddy.
3.0. As I'm moving around these names real quick. Okay. But welcome to another spectacular episode of Shadow Pack Squares. Before we get into our show, we got a couple things of business that we got to get into. First and foremost, who are we? We're Shadow Pack Gaming. We're a team of content creators that push each other to be better tomorrow than we are today. And we range from different things of fitness videos to video game streaming to topics like this. If you guys would like to know more about Shadow Pack Gaming, please feel free to hit us up on our website, which is in the chat right now. That is our one-stop shop, everything Shadow Pack Gaming. As you all well know, if you've been here previously before, we are also partnered with Gamerized. What is Gamerized, you might ask? Well, Gamerized is a social media platform made for gamers by gamers. The link for you to sign up, if you are interested, is right there in chat as well. And, of course, as always, make sure to follow us on Twitter. Make sure that way you can follow up on anything we got going on in real time. But one of the really cool things that we got going on is we have launched our public side of our Discord server. That means you, yes, you, can come hang out with us every single day of the week, day or night, and the link is there in the chat. So make sure to hit that and come hang out and have some fun with us. Today, obviously, we've got Crimson Shield Scholar on the far left. We've got Elf Daddy right next to me. We got Potions Master in the bottom left and Stealth Dad below. And, of course, I am NjordGod. So, today, I've done my homework. We are going to be reviewing the show Hamilton. No one here in the panel knows my reaction to Hamilton yet. Same with Potions. But the individual who picked this evening's topic is none other than Elf Daddy. Elf Daddy, go ahead, take it away.
I picked Hamilton. I like to say it's my Jamilton.
My God.
Yeah.
Puns are starting early.
So the puns continue. Okay.
No
But, yeah, it's one of my more recent favorite musicals. I haven't really seen, I guess, it's been a while since I've seen one that I really liked. And so this one was pretty special, I guess, in a way for me.
And why is that?
Well, because I didn't get a chance to see it when it was on Broadway. In fact, my first exposure to it was the soundtrack. So I was like, this kind of slaps. I really like it. And after that, I was like, I have to see this. And I was like, I can't go to Broadway. And then I heard that it was on Disney Plus, and I was like, hell yeah, finally get to see this. And so I had hyped it up so much, and I was really actually not very much disappointed, because I was like, so cool, man. But yeah, that's about it.
How did you find out about it? How did you listen to the soundtrack?
I saw it on YouTube. I was like, keep seeing this everywhere. What is this? And then I think someone on YouTube put out some animatics for it, and I was watching that, and it got me really.
They're hilarious. They're so
They
good.
Animatics?
Like, they're like animated videos. They're not like, I don't know, they're just kind of like
It's like claymation almost, but like animated. So like they're kind of jerky and stuff, but it describes like
Stop
what's going on in
motion
the song.
Okay.
Yeah.
but they were so good, so I was very interested from that moment too. So
Okay. So,
Sounds cool.
do we want to start with first reactions of as I was corrected
So
by H2O Little Sis? Oh, go ahead. So
Normally we start with how we all like first heard about it, and like what is our relationship to it before it was picked to be a Squares topic.
Okay, so you guys need to bear with me, okay? As you all know, normally the individual who sits in my seat is none other than Sean Flack 2.0. He's a legend. He's a god. He's an absolutely amazing individual that I love dearly. He's a great friend. unfortunately, he has some in real life stuff with work scheduling, so he's not able to be here. So I am debuting my first show today in the hot seat. Bear with me as I learn. Bear with me as I learn the. What do I want to call it? Methodology of how we operate here in Shadowpact Squares. I'm trying my best, guys. I promise. So yes. Let's go ahead and Fat Thor. Thanks for that follow. Awesome. Thank you. Which is a Shadowpact team member, brand new Shadowpact team member. If you guys aren't doing so, please go ahead and hit that follow button for Castiel as well as Fat Thor. They're both Shadowpact members. Awesome people. But anywho, Caitlin, how were you introduced to Hamilton and how does it impact you?
So, shout out to H2O Little Sis. That mixtape is the best. If you have not listened to the Hamilton mixtape, I highly, highly, highly suggest doing so.
By the way, H2O Little Sis is NjordGod's sister.
I figured.
But
hi, NjordGod's sister. Yes. But no, you're right. The mixtape slaps. It is popular artists of the day doing remixes of most of the songs of Hamilton, and it's just a masterpiece. I listen to it now more than the original Broadway tracks because but anyway. Pausing.
Okay, now you're good. You caught up.
Okay.
You're being a little eggy on yourself.
My parents' internet isn't the best, but that's okay. So I first heard of Hamilton when it was in previews. For those of you that don't know, I am originally from New Jersey. I have had the pleasure of going up to New York, Manhattan, many, many times. Grew up with Broadway. Hamilton was a phenomenon. I mean, it absolutely was. And I was obsessed with it since it started. And I've had the pleasure of seeing it 5 times, twice on Broadway, 3 times touring. And it's just fantastic. And I love it. And yeah, so I'm going to geek out a lot.
Okay,
Which
so
do you prefer?
I'm definitely going to come back to you and ask you a question because, again, I don't want to lead on to some of my stuff, but go ahead, Stealth.
Which do you prefer, the Broadway or the tour? I know there's some differences.
Yeah, the tour is really good for a tour. I think they did a really decent job. I do prefer it on the Broadway stage because I'm very much a purist. I'm a snob. I'm just gonna say that.
I mean, you are from Jersey, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Potions, you should click off your camera and click it back on again.
Yeah, because you're frozen in a really cool position. I like it.
Where's our clip master?
Stream work.
Yeah, there you go.
Ow. No, what was my face? Oh crap! Huh? Was it
You were like?
You were thinking.
I was just showing my best side. That was intentional.
Yeah.
So, do you prefer the Broadway show versus the tour? Is that what you were saying?
I do. Yeah.
And why?
There's just something about being on Broadway, going to a theater that's dedicated to that particular show. So, if you've never been to New York before, there are dedicated theaters. They're not all on Broadway, but that's just what it's called, Broadway. But it's a designation of theater. It's not where the theater is located. But each theater has marquees. So you'll walk up and they'll have the little jut out that has Hamilton, and it has reviews. And then as you walk by, with the stage door, you get to see just especially for Hamilton, they have the silhouette of the Schuyler sisters. So it's just a whole bunch of
Go help mama.
I don't know, atmosphere that you don't necessarily get in the touring production, which is just in normal theaters that can't modify themselves for each individual, show that shows up. So I if you love anything to do with performing, I just say save the money and take a trip to go to Broadway at least once. It's not necessarily the talent that's different, but it's just the experience and the atmosphere.
Okay. So I got a relative question to that, right? One of the things that I noticed while watching this, I'm gonna call it a film because that's what it is when you're watching on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
one of the things that I noticed. So I'm a theater kid. Okay, I was in theater. I love it. I really do. One of the questions that I have that I
just hate the Christmas musicals.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Christmas. We Christmas music, okay. But one of the things that really stuck out to me in this film was their actual stage. Okay, the revolving circular stage. That thing is a work of genius, and the way that they utilized it was amazing. My question to you is: you've seen both the tour as well as the Broadway. Are they able to utilize that feature in both scenarios?
Yep.
Okay.
They were able to take the turntable on the tour, because you have to. Like, there are certain shows that rely on turntables. The original staging of Les Mis was one of them. The new staging doesn't have a freaking turntable, and that's a completely different topic that I'm not going to get into. But like those touring, when they toured Les Mis, they didn't actually have the turntable, which is why when they restaged it, they decided not to do it. No, but Hamilton, they insisted on touring with a turntable. Most modern theaters have enough space below the theater stage itself to be able to install one. So they make sure that they go to theaters that can accommodate the turntable that they need.
That was all Lin-Manuel Miranda. Hot little H2O little sis, Jesus.
No.
Not quite sure.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Wow.
H2O little sis.
I'm very, very, very defensive of Alex Lacamoire because Lynn has gotten like celebrity status and Alex hasn't. And in my opinion, Alex is more of the musical genius than Lynn is. So, but we can get into that later. So I'm very, very protective of him.
Okay.
I'm still just gonna throw it out there that Lin-Manuel is really cute. Just saying.
He's cute.
Is that the individual that actually was the Hamilton in the Disney
Hamilton.
Plus? Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna move on to Potions, right? How were you introduced to Hamilton, and what's the impact on you?
Tumblr.
All
of a sudden, all of these GIFs and quotes and clips and just shit from this new musical Hamilton just started dumping on my dash, and I'm just like, what the shit is this? And all of my friends were going crazy for it, and I was just like, I mean, I like history, I like musicals, I don't know that much about Hamilton himself, but that would be cool. And then I found out like tickets were seriously like $500 a piece, and I'm like, no, I'll wait until I don't know when. So yeah.
Now, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what?
Hey, Sean.
Sean Flack, what's going on? Can I get a shout out for Sean?
Yes.
It's Sean Flack.
He is probably listening on the car ride home from kickboxing.
No, yeah, right.
Oh,
Thursday's kickboxing. Remember?
Second work.
Yeah.
Also, thanks for the resub, Wookie. I don't know if we ever shouted that out, but thank you.
Yep.
I know you like did the SPS, but I mean like verbally.
He's checking in just before class.
That is a fantastic view of Natalie, by the way.
Right.
Kick-ass boxing.
So I don't know if you answered.
She's wearing a diaper.
Yeah, right.
There is that.
Love you too, Wookie. So did you answer how it impacted you, or I don't want to get too far into your reveal of your reaction. I'm talking more so like prior to watching it.
No. Really the only impact I noticed was all of a sudden there was like all these Hamilton quotes with memes of my favorite video game popping up, and they were fucking hilarious.
Wait, which ones? What?
They made Mass Effect memes of this?
No, there's not.
Yeah, there's literally a blog on Tumblr called Emmy for Ham, which is nothing but Mass Effect Hamilton memes. And they do really good renders too. It's just like, OMG.
Okay, you need to start sharing that in the Discord and all things memes.
And if you guys aren't part of their Discord, make sure to hit it up right here. Great plug.
Because come join us on the Shadowpack Gaming Discord, and you can hang out with us all in the den and screech about Mass Effect Hamilton memes.
Right?
Because reason. Oh yeah.
We share all of
Oh, and if no one picked up on that clue, Mass Effect is Potion Master's favorite series of games.
Yeah, if you're just joining us for the first time.
You know, I'm not
There is-
wearing one of my N7 hoodies. I'm actually wearing the Shadowpack one.
Whoop whoop!
Represent!
And if you want to check out Shadowpack Gaming's YouTube channel, there is a 4.5 hour long video.
Record breaking, baby. Oh,
Something
man.
like that.
Mass Effect 1.
Oh yeah.
So I failed, guys. I failed. I did all this setup today, and I've got except for Instagram and Facebook, but I've got like all of our other socials. I got Twitter, I got Gamerize, I got Discord, I got our website, but I don't have our YouTube like plug-in on my Stream Deck.
Oh
Well,
no!
What good are you?
I tried.
Njord.
You did. You didn't try. you
Actually, it's
succeeded.
right above me.
You did
If
good.
you're looking right here, it's right above me.
me.
It's in the overlay.
say
It's
it
just not on the.
The Stream Deck.
Right?
Or Stream. Yeah, Stream Deck.
So, Stealth Dad, how were you introduced to Hamilton, and what kind of impact did it have on you prior to seeing it?
So no really big impact on my life of it when I, but I'm actually going to be doing some plugs for other creators and friends of mine. I am in a Discord for the Adventure Incorporated podcast, and one of the cast members, she produces a podcast called Protest Too Much, which is a Shakespeare podcast. It talks about Shakespeare all day, every day. What she does is she'll put her guests will come on and they'll pit, like the theme would be like best marriage, and two people fight back and forth about, okay, what's your take on who's the best marriage is, whatnot like that. And then then it just that popped up there. We're talking about Hamilton coming to Disney Plus, and it just I seen a couple ads for it. I'm like, oh, and then somehow I've heard it's a rapping musical about Alexander Hamilton. I'm like, oh, let's watch it.
Okay, so it's
Just
really
put
funny
the
that
link for the
you.
Tumblr blog into the chat, by the way. And
Thank
I'm also
you.
posting it on the Discord. You're welcome,
And
because the very first thing that pops up on it when you look at it is, what if instead of Hamlet, it was an all Elcor cast for Hamilton? Confused wonder.
No,
How
so,
does
like-
a bastard orphan, son of a whore?
No, so really funny tie-in with that is a lot of people got very confused when Hamilton first came out because they weren't necessarily sure what this thing was, but they understood it because it like came into like society, right, and like the zeitgeist and everything. So Lynn would always talk about stories where he would be walking down the street and people would roll down their window and be like, "Yay, Hamlet!" And he's like, "Yeah, Hamlet, that's the show I wrote." And so it's really, really funny.
That is good.
I think he actually stepped on, like talked about that a little bit in the Heights, like that referenced that a little bit into it, if I remember correctly.
A little bit, yeah. So, and yes, we can have a rapping musical about Shakespeare. That should be Lynn's next project.
So
but it won't
just so
be.
you know,
But it should.
H2O little sis, she has her master's, and she's an English teacher. Okay.
Nice.
So she majored
Nice.
in English. And she is
Oh my
definitely all
God,
about
Rapspear.
Shakespeare and all of that. 100%.
So you should write it, H2O little sis.
Right? Hint, hint,
Do
wink,
it.
wink.
Yeah.
So for me, I had actually never heard of Hamilton until I was told the topic of this evening's topic.
And you call yourself a theater.
What can
girl.
I say except you're welcome?
So, but actually, one of the questions
You're welcome.
I have, right? One of the questions I have is, how old is this production?
2015.
Okay, so I mean, it's still fairly new. Not sure. Okay, fine. Actually,
She told you about Hamilton, apparently.
well, one of the
Yes,
things.
she
So
has.
I was watching this production, right, and my wife goes, "I've obsessed over it for a year." Okay, so my entire family is actually headed to New York in October and is going to be seeing it live on Broadway.
Nice.
Nice.
I am not.
Should go.
He's gotta
I
work.
know, baby. Well, also baby coming soon.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. Especially when
I mean,
tickets are $300
priorities,
a
Hamilton.
piece. Yeah, you know, baby Freya. I mean, like, let's just drop $600 and go.
I mean, worth it. Hashtag compared
It's a
to how much.
vacation.
Yeah, it's your baby moon.
Right. But yeah, I've heard about it, and I'm very picky when it comes to my musicals. I'm super picky. Okay, and for me, it was just something I was like, yeah, whatever. No, I'm not gonna watch this. No, I'm not doing it. No, 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 absolutely not. And then I'm
And
taking
here
over.
you are.
I'm taking over, helping with Shadowpack Squares, and now I had to watch it.
Guess what? Our topic is Hamilton.
And guys, what was my
You know
reaction
how
to
most of our topics come out?
you guys can attest. What has my reaction been this entire time for the past week or so?
You have not really
Reluctant.
wanted to watch it, and it's like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time.
Right,
And
you're
that's-
like, I guess I'll have to do it eventually.
and then it's
I
like,
do
oh,
specifically remember when I started watching this, right? Like at the very moment I started watching it, within the first 10 to 15 seconds, it says, "Please silence and turn off all your cell phones and electronic devices." And I typed into our chat, I'm like, "Well, guys, I'm sorry. It's telling me I can't watch this. I got to turn off my phone and my electronics." So.
sorry, how am I supposed to watch this if I can't use my electronics?
Looks like I'm not watching it. I thought I made a pass. I mean, but hey. So
We'll always make it work. We'll figure something out.
Yeah,
what is the next
I'm gonna make
order
worse
in
in front of
how
my
we go
timeline.
through our topics?
So now it's going to be Elf Dad talking about the summary and what Hamilton is actually about.
Okay.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, obviously it's about Hamilton.
Who's Hamilton?
But who?
Which
yeah, but
Hamilton?
who is Hamilton?
He's,
Why is Hamilton?
founding fathers, and he's also the guy on the $10 bill.
And Hamilton is Alexander Hamilton.
Yes, Alexander Hamilton. And like it says in the show, he had a hand in creating
Mama.
the national banks.
White, please.
What was it, New York Coast Guard, yeah, and you know, very very proficient writer. Wrote the Federalist Papers. Well, not all of them. Not all of them. Wrote
Eight.
some of them.
Was it like 56 pages of it?
51? 51?
51.
Yeah, 51.
John Jay got sick
Yeah.
after writing 5. James Thomas Jefferson wrote 23. Hamilton wrote
And
the other
contrary to
61.
some of the things I've heard, he was not president. I've
He's
heard a lot
not.
of people be like, Alexander Hamilton's my favorite president. Like, no, he wasn't.
So, an interesting fact that I just looked up, okay? What was 51? Senpai!
How many Federalists?
The number of
Papers.
Federalist papers that he wrote because he could not shut up.
Right. So one of the really cool things that I actually just looked up, right? I have a fascination with the Declaration of Independence. Even though Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, John Jay, and James Madison are counted as founding fathers, not a single one of them signed our Declaration of Independence.
Correct.
Not a single one.
Because there are only 2 representatives from each colony that signed, and so it was like a junior delegate and a senior delegate from the
That's us, boss.
from the
But
first independent convention that happened in Philadelphia, and Hamilton was not invited to that. Because if you think about it, Hamilton didn't make a name for himself until after the Revolutionary War, and the Declaration of Independence was written in 1776. Same with George Washington. They weren't anybody before the war.
Right.
So.
Right. That makes sense. Because Alexander Hamilton didn't really become a name until closer to the end of the Revolutionary War, because he did end up taking over per the production and actual historical facts.
In fact, yeah.
and actual historical fact. I love how much you know about all this. Yes, Crimson.
Yeah, I'm like super obsessed. No, so like the Revolutionary War is like one of my favorite eras in history anyway. So I always knew a lot about it. And then there's like this, and then it like merged the two together.
one other thing to note is that Colonel Schultz called it as our treasure trove of knowledge. She'll always fact check us without us having to go online.
That's
Hey, I
Oh,
know
by the
a
way,
fact.
actually, real quick fact for
You sure?
Crimson and H2O, you guys shared the same name, just so you know.
Nice.
Spelled differently, but
Okay.
it's the same name.
I'd say, but probably not spelled the same because that's never how that works.
So, the one thing I'm pretty sure is probably historical fact was that it took more than just one guy waving a flag to be like, okay, war's over.
Actually, not.
Really?
Yeah,
Literally just one guy. Like,
literally just one.
Yeah, that's the way it
and
worked. But
everybody
you
else
still
just
had
kind of agreed on that?
well, what you still ended up having some skirmishes, right? But as
What do
far
you
as
want?
a full blown war still continuing
Go.
on versus
Go.
the North versus the South, right? I'm not talking Civil War. I'm talking Revolutionary. It did all just kind of like quiet down at once, but you had people who had ill intent and revenge and hatred towards the British, vice versa, as the British were trying to escape, still having skirmishes here and there.
Correct. So the Battle of Yorktown, which is where the one guy rides out with a white flag, which is actually what happened at the Battle of Yorktown, ended the war. That's when it wasn't Washington, it was Cornwall, I think, signed the actual cessation of violence and the cessation of hostilities between the two of the British and us, and it's where they recognized that the colonies can actually be independent. But if you remember the story of Hamilton, which is like the play, the musical, which is true.
Pause. Pause.
You're freezing.
Pause.
You froze.
It's because they're
Frozen 3.
in South Carolina, and they still had a lot of factions and pockets of violence.
Okay. Restart that.
Restart that.
Thought.
Yeah, all we heard was pockets of violence.
Okay.
You were a robot.
So if you remember in Hamilton in the play, when John Lawrence gets killed, he gets killed in South Carolina because that's one of the pockets of violence that
Right.
still existed. So even though the war itself was over, as they were retreating, sometimes they would still have skirmishes, like Njord said, and still fight. And so in that way, they.
Which
I mean,
is
another
actually a historical fact.
Another historical fact is that, kind of relating to wars, World War II with the Japanese surrender, where there's pockets of Japanese soldiers that did the same exact thing because they did not believe that their native homeland would surrender.
Well,
Right,
and
exactly.
if you want to go further than that, it's actually happened in almost every single war early war that we have been attested to where there wasn't widespread communications.
There wasn't that
Instantaneous
also.
communication, shall I say.
Now, I could be wrong on this, but wasn't that also the case with the bombing of Pearl Harbor, like where they just didn't hear that the war was over?
No,
No, Pearl Harbor
what
happened
was-
before
what
the
was-
end of the war.
Yeah.
it happened like
there was one I
in the middle.
remember.
It was definitely one of
41.
those. It was definitely one of those things where like, Germany's getting into all this. Japan's helping Germany. Japan's like, I got a bright idea. Let's go do this. They do it, and Germany looks at them like, "What did you do?"
No. They're like,
Yeah.
no.
December 7th, 1941 is when USA will know the life forever as known as infamy because of the Pearl Harbor bombing attack. Now, one of the reasons why that attack happened is, the soldier or the command over in Pearl Harbor, they heard about a set of fighters were going to come, like they were going to do a swap of fighters, which sometimes happens, but they got delayed. They didn't have the notice. So when they saw the aircraft on screen, they didn't think it was the Japanese, and looks like Potions is frozen again, by the way.
Yep.
They didn't realize it was Japanese attacking. It was an actual attack, and so we got Pearl Harbor going on now.
Yeah, because after Pearl Harbor, we had the Battle of Midway, and then you had eventually later on, then you had the bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and that is kind of what led, not the ending of World War II, but that is what led to the ending of World War II.
Well, you also have the Pacific Theater versus the Atlantic Theater, and those
Right.
are two entirely different things. And VE Day is very different than VP Day. And we can argue about the dropping of the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because I wrote a really intense research paper on that and whether the war was done beforehand.
But let's get back on topic.
We talked about the musical instead.
Alexander Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton.
So anyway, would you like to summarize the plot, Elf Daddy?
If we can get through it.
okay, the plot, basically start, well, I guess if we go chronologically, it details, like, him, how he got to America, and, like, the conditions of his birth, where his mother died, cousin committed suicide, basically, had to start working early to, try to make a living, and, got sent to New York, and
The greatest city in the world.
the greatest
It
in
is.
the world.
Well, because where was he born? Do you remember where Hamilton was born?
Jamaica.
The Caribbean.
Caribbean is the one I knew.
I wasn't it. Shoot, brain's not working. Was it St. Kitts?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nevis, I believe. But yeah, same country.
Amazing.
So yeah, so that's where he was growing up. So just why he got to be sent to America, because he wasn't like born in the colonies.
Yeah. And let's see, from like how he basically got an education, met up with these people, got involved in, like, interested in the revolution that was brewing. Basically met his friends, which Lafayette, John Lawrence, Hercules Mulligan, and Aaron Burr. Yay!
I love Mulligan. I love Oak actually, but yeah.
Badass. And
I think you're skipping the ambition part right off the bat.
do what?
The ambition part, because right in the beginning, when Hamilton meets Aaron Burr for the very first time, he's talking about how he's wanting to complete his college courses in 2 years, just like Aaron Burr did, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of, to me, that I felt like that set up a precedence of everything to follow.
Well, not only that, it also established, like, a couple things about his personality, like how he was, like, hot-headed. Also,
He
like,
always wanted to be
when
the
it came
best
to,
and
like,
didn't care who he
Winter's
stepped
Ball,
on.
how he was ambitious, definitely, and always writing.
I mean, fact check, he didn't actually punch the bursar, and Lin Manuel knew that, but he's like, I needed something to rhyme with it, so I went with it.
Wait, what? Oh, gotcha. You're responding to chat.
No. When saying he was hot-headed, because it's like, oh, you punched the bursar? Yes. It's like, no, but he didn't actually punch the bursar. They just wanted to do it for creative licensing.
Okay.
Artistic interpretation.
I suppose I would say maybe not so much hot-headed as in
Hollywood land.
I guess. You know.
Yeah, driven.
He's a very driven man.
Yeah, driven. Yeah. And let's see. Also covered. Oh yeah, Aaron Burr. And took Revolution, meeting George Washington, meeting his wife, his kids, the loss of his kids,
His affair,
his political career, and finally his death.
Okay.
Basically a life to death sort of thing. Musical biopic.
Now, did he want to be? How many kids did he have? H2O Little Sis asks.
7, I think. 7 or 8 in real life.
Which is interesting because we only hear about the one.
Yeah.
In the production.
No.
He mentioned in the song he had a brother.
3.
No, he had a sister, but he wanted a brother.
Okay.
Right. So he at least had 2 in the show, and with the interpretation that he would eventually have 3, that he would eventually have his little brother. I think in real life it was 7 or 8.
I feel like it was 7 or 8.
So
he had a lot of kids, like a lot.
But the kid actually did die, and like that was legit. His oldest son did get killed. So it's not like he made that up. They just didn't. If you talk to Lin, he's like, I didn't want to deal with child actors, and we're like, yeah, that's fine. And he's like, it also is unwieldy for like an audience to like realize or care about the fact that he had that many children. So
right.
And they had kids from like a long ass time. Like when his oldest son died, his wife was pregnant with their youngest.
Okay.
So like they had babies for like a long ass time.
So here's a question for you,
n-
Elf. I'm sorry. Actually, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Artistic license that he took with the Schuyler sisters. Um, Schuyler did not just have daughters; he had
Yeah,
sons. He had many sons. There's
Okay.
absolutely no reason for any of that.
Also, if I remember correctly, what I think there was no actual evidence that Angelica was interested in.
No, there are. Those are actually letters. Those are real letters that are in the biography of Hamilton that you can read.
Yeah, because
Whether or not it was actually anything like a lot of people interpreted the musical to be like, oh, they actually also had an affair, but it's like no, like it never. They say that it never went anywhere, but like it was like an intellectual sort of like match or relationship or whatever.
Yeah, like emotional, intellectual sort of romance, but without anything more than that, I guess.
An affair of the minds is what it was.
Yeah, there you go.
But he did love Elizabeth. He did really love her, apparently.
Does that mean he was emotionally cheating?
I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it.
Didn't Peggy die really young, and that is why she isn't really in the second act?
Correct. Peggy did die.
Okay.
The line, in fact, of your mother can't handle another heartbreak, a lot of people
Froze again.
in reference to
Frozen.
Cheating, but it's not.
Yeah, you froze again.
Okay, a lot of people can't, is what you left off on.
A lot of people think that the line of your mother can't stand another heartbreak that Hamilton tells his son is in reference to his cheating scandal, but it's not. It's actually in reference to Peggy's death, because in IRL, in like actual history, Peggy had died only about 3 months before that final duel took place, where his son died. And that's why when Elizabeth comes in, or Eliza comes in and says like, no, like what happened, and it's like crying in that really bad scene, and she's dressed in black because she's still mourning her sister's death.
Okay, that makes sense.
Sidebar, if we do a historical thing, we definitely need to cover Lafayette too, because that story is fascinating.
Lafayette was my favorite even before like Hamilton became a thing, just because I'm like a Francophile and I just loved the whole idea of it. So
never.
So Elf, I've got another question for you. I'm sorry, but to kind of get us there.
No, you're fine. I like that H2O is also saying the same thing that I'm saying when it happens.
Right. So Elf, in this production, okay, it's and actually in life, Alexander Hamilton is known to be a writer / scribe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that? I'm gonna go back trying to get to like the beginning of the production. Is that what he wanted to be the entire time?
No. It did not really want to be so much a writer, like you mentioned in the one bit that he really wanted to be a soldier as opposed to being a writer, and like he didn't really want to work for anybody because he would be more like an assistant.
Okay.
And I respect that, honestly.
The main thing is that like he, like you said, he didn't want to be an assistant because he wanted to make a name for himself, because he had no money.
Be famous?
He had no family name, so he's like, in order for me to actually like get a wife or something like good, like I need to actually like make a name for myself. So many bots. That's a lot of bots.
That was 3 of them.
That's how we know we got big.
Exactly.
See, they ask if we want to be famous. I say that we got that many bots means we're already there.
Yes.
All right, so now we've gone over the summary. What do we get into next?
Reactions.
Reactions.
Yeah.
Awesome. I've been waiting for this. Okay.
Testing.
Let's start with Elf. Elf, what is your reaction to the movie? Or no, sorry, production.
Okay.
Of the play.
So, unlike you and you who came from a theater background, I came from a choir background. So, I have no experience whatsoever really involved in theater other than an appreciation for it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, unlike Caitlin, I didn't see it on Broadway. So my only frame of reference is the production. So, honestly, I was pretty floored with it. Like, the turntable stage, I thought that was really cool because the one and only time I actually went to a theater production, they didn't have anything like that. So, to me, that was pretty cool. Like, Hurricane, when they were doing that, I thought that was fascinating. Like the choreography, um, the songs were catchy as hell. I say this a lot, but guys, oh my god, every time I can't not cry to this. I'm not super weepy person. I don't usually, feel things that deeply, but every single time I watch it, doesn't matter how many times, it's like I'm bawling by the end.
Okay.
I'm sorry, no, somebody's cutting onions. Always.
Okay, so I'm gonna include a chat question to the reaction question as well. I would also like you to answer who's your favorite character other than Hamilton.
Other than Hamilton?
Yes.
Oh, that's a tie. King George and Jefferson for sure.
Okay.
Jefferson or Lafayette?
Yeah,
You
you
and I
asking the
think
hard
alike.
questions.
Well, hey,
I
he
also
said
like George Washington too.
he
Honestly,
Washington was cool.
I'm gonna
He
have to
said-
say both on that too, because like they had similarities in like the personality for both, but they're just different enough that I have to appreciate both. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna. What did I miss? You didn't miss anything.
No,
The song.
that's King George's song.
Oh.
What did I miss? No, not King George. Jefferson. Excuse me.
Yes, I do remember that. All right, Caitlin. Or sorry,
Yo.
Crimson Shield Scholar. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
I'm used to calling you Caitlin.
Yeah, that's fine.
Your reaction
My
to
name.
the production in general, right? As well as your favorite character other than Hamilton.
So, my reaction was I loved it. It was really cool. I come to things from a theater background, obviously, but also a musical theory background, and that to me is what blows this musical away from anything else. And this is why I was telling Elf, and he was like, we should make like YouTube content about this. Yes, because I mean there already is YouTube content about it, but we can spin it. The When I would tell people about this musical and tell them just how good it was, I was like, I don't care about production value. I don't care about who they have starring in it. I don't care about even like the story or the lyrics or anything. It's the pure musical genius of the theory behind the songs and how each individual character has their own theme, similar to Les Mis, but how that theme evolves throughout the two acts of the show that actually ties it all together. And whether it's in a minor scale or a major scale, can actually tell you what's happening within the story itself. It's there's so many layers to this musical that the first time I listened to it, I'm like, I don't care about the rap or the hip hop, which is what made it unique. I don't care about the fact that they didn't cast non-white people into these traditionally white people roles. Like, I don't care about anything that most of society said that was what made this musical cool. It's everlasting because of the genius behind it and what makes it. It's what a lot of people, when they listen to it, they don't realize why it impacts them so much. But it is because of those musical themes that go out throughout the entire show. So I was definitely blown away. First time I saw it, I brought my boyfriend with me, and he is not a musical theater person. He had never been to New York or seen really a show before I introduced him to shows, and he hates all things rap and hip hop. So he's like, I'm gonna hate the show, and I'm like, trust me, you're going to like it. And so at the beginning of the intermission, he turned to me and he's like, why didn't you tell me this is what it was? And I was like, ah! So anyway, I love it. It's fantastic. That was my first reaction, and of course I wouldn't have seen it a bunch of times after if I didn't like it. My favorite character
other than Hamilton.
Other than Hamilton, well, Hamilton's not my favorite character regardless. It's a tie. It's a tie between James Madison / Hercules Mulligan and Eliza, obviously. Eliza Schuyler is, again, to me, is the main character she is the Hamilton that Hamilton is about, and we can go into that later if you want as well. Because if you actually, she ends the show, and because she ends the show, the story that they're actually telling is Eliza Hamilton's story, not Alexander Hamilton's story. And I love Oak, I love Mulligan versus James Madison, because Lafayette and Jefferson are very similar in how they are. They're both sort of kind of flamboyant characters.
Remind me, remind me who Mulligan and who was the other one?
James Madison.
James. Okay, so remind me who Mulligan is.
So Hercules Mulligan is one of the revolutionary friends that Alexander meets in the beginning. So he meets John Lawrence, he meets Lafayette.
He's the
Aaron
spy,
Burr.
right?
He's a spy, the Taylor spy.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
We had a spy on the
one that gets more
inside.
beauty
Hercules Mulligan. Yeah. And then he plays James Madison, who is very straight-laced and is basically like the straight man to whatever Jefferson does. Like my favorite is like the rap battles in the cabinet meetings. It's like, you don't have the votes, and he's like, you don't have the vote. Like he's just so straight-laced versus what Mulligan is, who is so like out there in your face. It's such a dichotomy of characters that I thought it was really brilliant writing to have the same person play both of those.
Okay.
One who talks about sex. Yes, that too.
All right, so let's go ahead and go over to Stealth Dad. Yes, Potions, I'm holding you back a little bit.
Oh, it's fine.
Let's get your same question to you. Your reaction to the show, the production, as well as your favorite character other than Hamilton.
So, with the reaction to the show, like I said, first time I heard it, and then like, ooh, it's a rapping musical. Okay, I don't like. If you've seen the show before, yes, I am the one who was the host for an Eminem segment of our. Does that mean I'm a fan of rap? Am a fan of those who I like? Yes, but it was still good. Like Poach was saying, the songs were good in it. Like the way they did the songs, because it felt like they brought it into the modern age with that. Is try and do that for some of the songs is what it felt like. It was good. Obviously, I'd be down to watch it more. It's just I'm not a person who is always thinking of who's always watching musicals, so I don't watch musicals all the time. And then favorite person besides Hamilton, I would say George Washington. It's only because I know the actor who played him. He was in other shows, and I know who the actor is.
Okay.
More for that. It's more for the favorite over familiarity. That's what it is.
Okay. Potions. Reaction.
Njord.
So the Potions and I our first time seeing it has been probably this week.
Yep.
Okay. So the first time ever seeing this was this week, and that's what kind of why I held us back. Let's get your reaction, as well as your favorite character other than Hamilton. Pinkies up.
Reaction was it was better than I thought it was going to be, just because I have to be in the mood for musicals, and admittedly, I just haven't been lately. As well as I have to be in the mood for historical things, and I really haven't been lately. So I was actually happy that it held my attention more than I thought it was going to, and it was very reminiscent of Les Mis, just because they had the revolving stage, and I've seen Les Mis on Broadway. That was pretty cool. So yeah, it was nice to see all of it like parallel and whatnot. And it was definitely a neat way to learn some history, because I don't really know much about Alexander Hamilton other than Aaron Burr shot him in a duel. And I was just like, well, that sucks. But it was also really nice to see how much the founding fathers dragged each other in the newspapers was being put into it, because that's always something I found funny in the history classes that they never expounded on. So just seeing that brought to light, I was like, yeah, they're all feisty bitches.
Sit down, John, you fat mother.
I mean, one of One of the presents I gave my father years ago was a little pamphlet that Ben Franklin had written that was called Fart Proudly. And it was a bunch of his writings and postings that he put in his Gazette. And one of it was about why it was better to have an older woman with no teeth as your mistress because she was experienced, and you can extrapolate, you'd be right. And how you should definitely like be proud of who you are, so fart proudly and whatnot. And like I think another part of it was why a turkey should be the national bird, and it's a really funny book, but that's a side of history that most people don't ever really get to see. So it was nice to see that highlighted in all of this. My favorite character outside of Hamilton, Lafayette, just because I like Lafayette. He was one of my more interesting people to learn about during school, and honestly, I was really kind of surprised I didn't put von Steuben in. Like, where's the German mercenaries, man? Where are the Hessians?
That was probably more like you're saying before, the artistic license. Because
I know, but I was just like, I want to see the German man butt heads with Lafayette. Because come on.
I mean, they really, really glossed over all of that in like 2 verses of a song. So
I know.
This is like a revolution, and it was more about the country building. So
yeah, but outside of Lafayette, I'd say my second favorite was George Washington. It was nice to see him portrayed that way.
I mean, also if Potions was the one writing the play would probably be like 4 or 5 hours long.
I could see it being like more like 10 at least, bare minimum. Like, you gotta get the facts in here, okay? All of them.
Okay, NjordGod, what are your reactions and your favorite character that's not Hamilton?
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this. Yes.
I know.
I mean, kind of me too.
I have been out of this panel here, I have been the one individual who has been fighting watching this tooth and nail because, like I said earlier, I'm very picky with my musicals. Okay. And when I started this, I actually started this while at work. I was on call. I started on my phone, and it actually, let me retract a little bit. My wife sat here. She's like, in my ear. She's like, yeah, I didn't like this at all. Like, someone's got to force me to sit through this. Like, the very first 20 minutes is nothing but singing at all. I'm not a fan, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm just getting lower and lower and lower. I'm like, God, I really don't want to do this. So I called up my sister. I called her up on Tuesday because today's Thursday. I called her up on Tuesday and said, hey, tomorrow, I don't care what you're doing. You're coming over here and you're going to watch this with me. You're going to make me watch it start to finish. Like, that's what we're doing.
And then she probably dropped everything and rushed over. Was like, okay, can we do it now?
Well, she was going to, right? She was going to, but she had a tough day in IRL. So she ended up backing
so you watched
out.
Hamilton. Oh.
She ended up backing out, right? She's like, I need to relax. I'm like, isn't that like watching Hamilton for you? Like, come on.
Come on.
And she's like, I just want to be at home with my dogs. I'm like, okay, fine, I get that. So I actually got my wife to sit down and watch it with me last night. First time I've ever seen it. I fell in love. This. Okay, first and foremost, I am a history buff. I love history. I might not know a lot of it off the top of my head, but I am a huge fan of history. Hey, look, I got a pickle. I got a pickle. I got a pickle. I got a pickle. Hey.
Hey, Pickle Rick.
Sorry, I had to throw a little bit of Little Rascals in there.
Wow.
Somebody clip that. That was great.
That was great. We should clip that. Absolutely.
I think I just killed Potions.
I think you did too.
The pickle dance.
What?
Did you get the clip? Or
Yeah, I did.
Beautiful.
Wow.
This is about to
I
be my
got a
favorite
pickle.
clip.
I got a pickle. I got a pickle. Hey, hey, hey.
See, I've known this pickle has been coming for the last 10 minutes. I've been waiting. Yeah.
You're
okay.
like, sometime soon, I'm getting a pickle.
he was just waiting to play hide the pickle.
Yeah, I know all of that's gonna fall on me.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's the whole shelf's falling. Oop, anywho, sorry.
If you need to fix something real quick, go ahead and do it.
No, it'll be fine. It'll survive.
I'm still dying over. I got a pickle.
I got a pickle. Anywho,
I got a pickle.
so I might not know all the history off the top of my head, but I am a huge history fan, right? And not a rap fan, but I can get behind the lyrics of every single one of these songs here, right? It's definitely not one of those like typical rap songs that you hear out today. I'm not going to get into the actual lyrics that you hear in them today, but they tell a story.
Wait! You can actually hear the lyrics in today's rap.
Okay. Touche. Tune in weekly for these shenanigans. Pickle time.
Pretty much.
Potions is still rolling.
That's in our TikTok. Elf.
Yeah, that's got to go on the TikTok. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. The story, obviously, I mentioned earlier, the mechanics of the actual stage blew my mind, and I loved it. I really did love that rotating stage. That is the only rap music he listens to and makes others listen to. Yeah.
What, mumble rap?
What? What are you talking about, sis?
Is it mumble rap or the old or the good OG 90s?
Like so,
know,
if I like
OG's
rap,
actually
if I like
80s.
rap, I'm listening to like Tech Nine or Upchurch. Okay, so like
Is that like country rap?
Upchurch is kind of country rap. Oh, okay. So she's saying rap that tells a story.
Ryan
And she's
Upchurch
correct.
is Ryan
Is this
Upchurch.
sad that the
would-
first thing I thought of was, hey, what's up, church? And I was like, it don't work like up dog, never mind.
Yes, I did
Oh
just
my
say
God.
Upchurch.
So Ryan Upchurch, yeah, he is on the loose side of country, but he's more toward the lyrical style of rap, and
Mhm.
the Tech Nine is a straight rapper.
Straight rap. Anywho,
I think that's from the early 2000s.
They're still putting out some music. But the story of it all, right? The first act totally captivated me because I like war, and that's a lot of what the first act was about. And the second act, the first act sucked me in so well that the second act I was like,
They must have had a pickle on screen.
It's pickle time!
Pickle time! The sequel, Pickleton.
Well, and again, getting back to what Crimson was talking about, you know, the lyrical rap battles for the cabinet meetings. I mean, I was sitting here, I was loving it, right? King George,
He's the best.
absolutely hilarious. I loved it. I mean, there were times when you're sitting here and you're up, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. Times where you're laughing, times when you're sad. I mean, this production literally had all three stages that you would wish that an audience would go through, right? And they executed it beautifully, right? That should be the next topic. Ooh, I've got dinner as well.
But what do you have for dinner?
It
My
smells like a
favorite-
potato soup.
Ooh, yum.
Yum.
Yeah.
My
I'll be right
favorite
there.
part of like the emotional thing is like in Act 2 after Philip dies and they do the whole like reconciliation. It's quiet up down.
Yeah.
And then you have James Madison coming in with like the handkerchief, like crying, and it's like, "Yo, can we get back to politics?"
Right? Right? So
Like,
now,
come on, let's just talk about serious stuff. This is breaking my heart.
so that's
Right.
that's honestly
Let's
all
like
of my
kill each other.
positive reaction. And I called my sister and I told her about me watching it today. And I told her that this entire production was almost completely ruined by the last 5 seconds.
Oh.
Okay, defend yourself.
Okay.
Which last 5 seconds?
No,
Explain.
the very last 5 seconds of the production. Okay.
Like
So-
when Eliza looks to the audience?
So Eliza, you have the finishing song of how she's written herself back into the narrative, right? She's
Mhm.
going through telling Alexander Hamilton's story, this, that, and the other. You
Mhm.
have this spot where where Hamilton comes back out on stage. She sees him,
Mhm.
but everything is still left up to your imagination, right? There's no like
Mhm.
convincing thing that's showing that she is coming to the end of her age and she's passing away, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
All of a sudden, she just looks out to the audience and goes, "Ah!" Ah!
Mhm. Mhm.
And it goes black.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Crimson wants to say something.
And from an audience perspective,
I
okay,
recognize that
hold on.
stance. That's,
I
have
know,
Heard your
I know.
lines, Njord.
You're about
She's
to-
on to you.
You're about to rebuttal. I know, okay. But from an audience perspective, again, I have only seen this one time, okay. From the audience perspective, like I said, there is no actual depiction that you are being led to the fact that she is dying. Okay, as I explained to my sister, I honestly thought this was a dream. Like she had gone to sleep and she's seeing Alexander Hamilton in a dream, this, that, and the other, right? But then she just looks at the audience and screams, and that literally almost
Not a
killed.
scream. It's a
Well,
gasp,
like,
but okay.
but it was a very like dramatic, exasperated gasp. Okay,
I mean, it's musical theater. It's
but
gonna be
again,
dramatic.
if you're gonna being someone who's been in theater, Caitlin, you should know this too. You need to lead your audience to knowing what you're trying to depict. Okay,
Yes and no.
show that depiction. Well, when you're going that dramatic of an end of that you're looking for, you need to lead your audience to that a lot better than what they did. Okay, I would have loved seeing her lay down or in a bed, in a deathbed, something of that nature to depict better that she was passing away.
It is not really her dying.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, but
Kind
not
of,
really.
not really.
And that is from NjordGod's little sister saying that.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
But that's what they're trying to get you to see, right? Otherwise, why would they? Why?
So there are two camps.
Okay.
So there are two camps of this. First of all, from the creators.
Aw,
Yeah,
I like that.
almost. Your sister almost has it. So from the creators, the gasp is left up to the interpretation of Eliza. That's exactly what they said. The director has said, I will never specifically say what it is. It's up to the actor to get their own interpretation from it, from what they think is actually happening. The one camp is that she finally dies. She goes to heaven. She sees she sees Hamilton, and then she looks out at the audience and she realizes that she was successful in telling Hamilton's story, which is why the story of Hamilton, the musical, is not about Alexander Hamilton. It's about Eliza.
Okay. Here's the problem.
because
Here's the problem, though. Okay, that gasp does not even remotely lead your audience to that kind of thinking.
Sure,
Maybe.
I guess. I mean, it led me to that thinking.
Have you asked every single Have you ever asked everyone who watched the movie about what happened, or who has seen the play asked what they thought?
But it should be obvious.
And the second version of the interpretation is that that entire last segment breaks the fourth wall. So when Lin comes out on stage, he's coming out on stage not as Hamilton, he's coming out on stage as Lin-Manuel Miranda. He is the author of her story and her husband's story. She recognizes that even in the year 2015, his story is still being told. She was ultimately successful. She looks out, she sees the audience, and she's like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. And then does.
That is kind of a nice interpretation.
Not a fan. I am not a fan at all of the ending. Literally, the last
That's fair.
5 seconds. The last 5 seconds of the entire 2.5 hour production. That is the only thing that I can sit here and be like, I didn't like that. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the entire purpose is like what Elf Daddy was saying. Is like it's this man with ambition. This man who is doing everything he possibly can to have a legacy. Right. That's his entire purpose. Is I want to build something that outlives me.
Right.
But at the end of the day, his hubris leads to his death, and it's behind every strong man is a stronger woman, and it's actually her that was able to succeed. You have to also remember the context in which this piece was written. The whole thing about the Schuyler sisters song and like everything like that, it was very, very, very female power centric, which is
100%.
why that last bit about, because it was like in the brand like spanking depths trenches of the Me Too movement. So it was very much like that last moment had to be given to her, because again, the focus is on her and how she basically allowed the founding fathers to be remembered, because she's the one that advocated for the Washington Monument. She's the one that still there's that orphanage still exists in New York City.
Right.
So she's the reason we got the monument that everybody makes fun of for looking like a phallic
Like a dick.
object.
Yeah, like a penis.
Yeah, like a
dick.
But I mean, also, it helped.
Historically.
So,
everywhere.
robot.
You're a robot. Repeat. Something about the Washington Monument. Something about the Washington Monument.
Right after we got done talking about how it looked like a dick.
I said obelisks are everywhere, so the Washington Monument, when it would make sense.
Yeah.
Because that was like the in design, like whether or not we want to tell it to be phallic or not. I mean, obelisks are just the in thing back then.
Right.
I feel like it's a fitting metaphor, at least. Looks like a dick because a lot of people in politics are.
That could be another theory. We could discuss that another time for that.
My favorite
the Washington
characters.
Monument is really cool though, but anyway.
Yeah. My favorite character. I'm gonna have to pick two. Okay. Lafayette. I thoroughly. Again, I'm coming at it from the first time ever watching it. Only have watched it once. Okay. Lafayette won me on the lyrical aspect. Okay. Able to keep character with a French accent while using French terminology and still keeping to the rhyme, the reason, and keeping everything going. Like he did really well.
How you say anarchy?
Right. Lafayette is one of my favorites. The other one also is John Lawrence. When for those of you guys who have not seen Hamilton, 100% literally this entire movie is none of it is spoken word. It is all lyrical words the entire time. Okay, there's not a spoken dialogue at all. Everything's singing.
It's a sung through musical is what it's called.
Okay. So for me, when I'm sitting here trying to pick my favorite characters, when Lafayette or Jefferson, Lafayette for sure.
Oh man.
Lafayette for me, and here's the problem, right? Lafayette won me in Act 1. Okay? And Jefferson obviously didn't come in until Act 2, but at that point I was already sold. For me personally, right? And for me, when I was going through here trying to figure out who's my favorite people, like, obviously Hamilton is up there as well. I mean, his beginning shot of "I'm not throwing away my shot," right? Like, that got me right off the bat. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The way that they were able to come it through and bring all this music together without making it. I'm trying to think of a musical that I don't like.
Cats?
I've never seen.
I like that.
Again, I'm very picky.
Like the original.
I'm very picky with what I've watched, so I've never seen Cats. Okay.
1776.
Never
You
seen
have
it.
to watch the one with Jacob
Oh,
Black
you should.
and Kim
You would
I
actually
haven't.
probably really like
I haven't even seen
1776.
Les Mis.
Mm.
I
Okay.
can stop.
I
And
mean-
I'm a huge Hugh Jackman fan, so like I
Oh no! Don't! Please don't watch the movie. Please don't watch the movie.
well,
It's so bad. Please don't watch the movie.
Well, I'm gonna have to.
What's
Just
the
wait.
greatest show, man?
Wait till like
what?
a regional theater does it near you or something. But just please don't watch.
I don't.
Wait, watch what?
I'm in Podunk, Tennessee. We don't have a theater near me.
Yeah, you do.
Les Mis.
You gotta go like 30
Les Mis.
miles somewhere else.
Right.
Nashville. I don't know how far you are to Nashville, but
But
40 miles.
like, I'm a fan of Newsies'
Who's your
Greatest
second?
Showman. Who's my second?
yeah, Lawrence, right?
John Lawrence, right? And again,
Okay.
it was because of the lyrical value. When they did sing, I was able to connect with them better than some of the others.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and that's where I was basing my quality on them all.
I like it. Lin-Manuel wrote that particular Guns and Ships rap for David,
Okay.
knowing that he could do it that quickly and in a French accent.
So what was actually really entertaining, right, is hold on, having my wife sitting next to me, okay, and sitting here telling me who these people were. Like King George is the voice of Sven,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Like I'm
Yeah.
I
okay.
know.
like
I was
That's what-
texting Crimson throughout
that's what
watching
Potion
it. I was
said,
like, "Is that fucking Kristoff?" And she's like, "Yes, yes, it is." I'm like, "Why is he drooling?"
I know.
Dude,
Oh my god!
I
The
was
entire
telling
time,
Elf
like,
Daddy.
he's like, I'm like, what?
I mean,
But it makes
helps
sense.
The crazy king thing, and
It
I know
does.
he did it on purpose.
It does.
Yep, Mad King George.
Yep, Mad King George. Yep.
I
so-
mean,
Yo, come back.
I was telling Elf Daddy, as we were watching, like, that's just a horrible close up. Because as soon as they did a close up on King George for that song, he did a massive just,
Yeah.
and then Elf Daddy was bringing back like, well, maybe it's for doing for the fact that he's Mad King George.
Okay.
So I was like, okay.
I gotta ask you guys, each of you guys, your favorite King George moment of this production.
Ooh,
Starting with Elf.
I got it. That part, I want to say during the Reynolds pamphlet when he's just sitting there dancing around, and I was like, that's beautiful, love it. Or
that part.
alternatively, when he finds out about John Adams, that's also funny.
Right? Caitlin.
John Adams.
Right.
My favorite part is when he goes, "I'm so blue," and stamps his foot, and the spotlight turns to blue.
Yes, that was awesome too. I did enjoy that too. Potions.
It has to be the finding out about John Adams one because he was just so deviously gleeful. He's like, "Ooh!"
Stealth.
A little guy who spoke to me.
It's
Right.
pretty much like what
Yeah, also-
Potions was saying. Like,
he's got his
it's pretty
hand
much-
down so low. I'm like, this dude's got to be short as hell, man.
nah, it's like pretty much like Potion said. Like, when he found out that George Washington is stepping down, and they're like, "Hey, so they're gonna just elect a new person every time now?
Yeah.
How the fuck is that? How the fuck is that
I
gonna
didn't
work
know
out?
that was something you could do.
Right?
Giving up power.
Like, who would give up power?" And then I
Um,
was thinking, like, okay, so that's gonna be probably the tie-in for the War of 1812. If that,
Yeah, I didn't get to that part though, because unfortunately he died
Yeah.
before then.
So mine,
Yeah,
mine
well-
definitely was right on par with Elf, the John Reynolds pamphlet, right? That is the
Mhm.
first time, again, going beyond just the hilarity of it all, right? Okay, but that is also the first time John Adams was 5'7". That's short. Well, yeah, kind of. He's a short king.
I mean, I'm 5'2", so it's tall to me.
But that one part of the song, that's the first time that King George has ever been on stage, been actually tied to anyone else on stage at the same time. Period. Right? And then, of course, the hilarity of the entire thing was like, ha 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 ha. Just
Actually-
going nuts.
Jonathan,
so back to
But-
the 5'7" comment. I think back then 5'7" was average / tall at that time, but here nowadays it kind of is on the shorter end
Now it's
of
kind of
the
pretty short.
average. It's on the shorter end of
No,
the average for
5'7"
men.
5'7" was pretty short still back then for men. Like people, the height differences in 200 years haven't grown that much. The average for
only a
men
couple
still back then was
inches.
5'9", 5'10". So he
So
was
yeah,
still
he
on the
was
shorter
pretty
side.
short compared to others. Okay.
Yeah. But no, like Jonathan Groff's dancing in that scene is amazing to me. Where he's like, and then when they hand the pamphlet to the conductor is also like one of my favorite things.
I did love the whole Lafayette, or not Lafayette, but Jefferson thing of like making it rain pamphlets everywhere.
Yep.
That was
Yeah.
hilarious. Okay, so here's another question.
He's never gonna be president now.
Here's the next question. We'll go in the same order. What is your favorite part of the entire production, starting with Elf?
My oh no.
The
My
entire
favorite
thing?
part?
Yeah, right.
If I can't just say all of it, then I guess my favorite part is the Battle of Yorktown.
Why?
Yeah, that was really well done.
Why?
Not all. I mean, choreography was amazing, and let's face it, Hercules Mulligan. Gonna be real.
All right, Crimson.
Oh, and then what's your favorite song too? That's what
My favorite song?
chat wants to know.
Okay.
My favorite
What are the
song,
songs?
Guns and Ships.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's a really, really good one.
Are we eligible to listen to the songs?
Fun about
We can
10 seconds.
10 seconds of it.
And then timestamp it.
Yeah.
Alright.
You
I
need
don't
to
care
cue up the
about
song.
DMCA.
you can do 10 seconds of it.
We won't do that then.
I mean, that's what we do
Satisfied
in,
is a
like, our
good
music in our music review ones. So
I think it's got to be a little bit more prepared though next time. Like if knew we were going to sample everybody's favorite song, we would have told you what it was ahead of time, so we could already just have it queued up and then only play 10 seconds. And don't worry about it this time.
No, I can get to it.
I don't actually know any of the titles of the songs though, so I'm just
you
like,
can. It's okay. You can describe it. We'll know. Rewind.
So here's Guns and Ships, and I know you guys aren't going to be able to hear it on.
here on speak.
Yeah, I just turned it.
Yeah, if you guys turn on stream, then you'll be able to hear it.
Exactly.
How does a ragtag volunteer army in need of a shower somehow defeat a global superpower? How do
That's 10 seconds. Okay. So that's Guns and Ships. Crimson, what's your favorite part of the movie?
So
or
my favorite
movie
part of the
production.
show,
Sorry,
production show. Yeah. So my favorite part of the show is One Last Time, which is the scene in which George Washington tells Hamilton that he's not seeking re-election, because it's really, really, really hard to do, and I really appreciate what they did is having Hamilton write his farewell address, Washington's farewell address, and then having it fade in from Hamilton saying it to George Washington saying it, and just that kind of like overlap that they have. It's a really, 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 really powerful moment, and I love it. It's so nice.
okay, copycat.
No, I mean, yeah, when I was convincing my mom to go see it, that's what I played her, because again, she's not a huge rap fan, and so I'm just like, but look at this, and this is like actually what it's about. And she was like, oh, okay, no, like I want to see it, and I was like, yes, you do. Quagmire, yes. And my favorite song though was,
I think Family Guy.
yeah,
Giggity.
One of my favorite songs besides that, because that's like more of a scene moment, is Dear Theodosia. That's just
parallel.
Yeah, Dear Theodosia is just gorgeous. We haven't really talked about Aaron Burr as a character, how he's actually like also the narrator of the show, but just the click boom, like the whole it's just he's beautiful. I love him. But Dear Theodosia to me is like the first time that the the musical really hits its like music stride, because everything before that has been sort of like rap or whatever, but that's when you can actually like take it down for a moment and just be like, oh, it's really soft and nice, and then that's where you kind of.
And here is the first 10 seconds of Dear Theodosia.
Dear Theodosia, what?
Literally just got to Dear Theodosia. But yeah, that is definitely one of those, one of the very few songs that goes from that rap to a more lyrical ballad for the first time, which is kind of cool.
You can also play like the middle 10 seconds if you just want to like pick a random 10 seconds for in the future. Just
okay.
You don't have to just do the first 10.
Strong enough foundation.
Stealth Dad.
Pass it on to
Okay.
you. We'll give
So-
the world to you and you'll blow us all away.
Waiting on.
We just did another 10 seconds, but in the middle of Dear Theodosia.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
All right. Stealth Dad, what is your favorite part of the production, and then what is your favorite song?
So, favorite part of the movie, or was one of my favorite, is when Hamilton is trying to get funding or trying to pass his bill for taxes, and he's trying to get the country out of debt and set up a system for the future to where we're kind of like
Oh shit. Yo, my computer just did a fuck up. Those of you guys who are tuned in right now, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I actually cannot hear anyone else at the moment. My computer apparently does this every blue moon. Please stand by. Okay? Don't touch that dial. We'll be back.
Same shit with you. And
Yep. Start fresh. We're gonna restart our seasons.
There we go. Now we're live.
Like
Okay,
whenever
there we
there's
go.
whenever
Alright,
there's
we're back.
time, even if it's not on a Shadow Pack day, it's like, hey, guess what we're doing today? We're watching this.
Yep.
I don't know.
I know we were just having difficulty discussing the time. That's why I just straight up say, okay, this is the time
There
we're
we
gonna
go.
start. We're gonna start ideas. Now we're gonna start.
live.
We're gonna sit down and watch it this time.
So,
We're back again, guys. I'm super sorry about that,
I saw that.
I got it going again.
Ah!
So, Bear, I said I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jeez, why do you guys hate me so much? Stop it.
Okay. It's the same shit we give Sean, so you're just filling in.
Yes.
But
I got an
our,
Absolutely.
like, yeah, this
but
slaps.
one thing I can say is that with Sean so far, we have not had a go down on the stream and have to wait for the stream to come back up though. It's only been
That's
audio.
But I did have that squared
I
away.
think you're
I'm
forgetting
still
the
gonna
first
pick Dragon Age
episode.
one of these times because, you know,
But we never
Sean
dropped
has
though.
to know about Tim
We never-
Curry.
I said
No,
we
but,
never
like, the
dropped.
first episode ever, we had so many problems just getting everything set up and whatnot. It was mostly just a test, and then like the next night we had to do the actual episode because we just literally couldn't.
No, but I'm saying like
Mhm.
our show never dropped. Like we stayed constant. Like we stayed live the entire time.
You know what? This is my first time hosting the show. Okay. But we've got
I think you're
24
doing a
minutes
great
left.
job. You're doing way better than I could.
We've got 24 minutes left until one of our
Close.
panelists needs to head back to do things. Way to go, Njord! I know. Yay! Thank you. Woohoo! Me.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now
nice.
this is the part where if we have no more questions,
Hold on.
we
We,
do-
Well,
we haven't finished.
We gotta
Wait,
finish
wait,
a couple
we-
thoughts.
yeah, we
we
haven't
gotta
finished.
finish.
We haven't finished.
But
Yeah.
it was the first cabinet battle when was it? Hamilton was trying to get his banking system off the ground and trying to get Congress to say, "Hey, we gotta do this." And the fact that the South was saying no, like we're not gonna pay another state's debt just because we have a surplus.
Yeah.
But like
we know who's really doing the planting.
that was a lot of digs and a lot of fact that Hamilton, the banking system he thought of and like right after the war was so aggressive that nobody like did want to go through with it. But Potions, I move Otherwise, I think you're frozen again.
Yeah, you're frozen again.
I'm moving.
Doesn't get-
Damn it.
It's always on a good face though.
I know, right? Like,
It's because
what
I'm
were
so
you thinking?
fucking cute.
But
Humble too.
yes,
Humble
it was
too.
the fact. It was the fact that he's trying to get a bank
I will
system
have you
off
know,
the ground.
I'm very modest.
We know this.
Just saying.
Absolute humility, man. So humble. That's
But yeah.
what makes you great.
He's trying to get a
Good.
bank system off the ground. Everyone's opposed to it, but because it was so aggressive for the time, and they just fought against taxation without representation. It's like, hey, we need some taxes again, guys. We need to, get us out of debt. He took a dig at Jefferson about
Mhm.
why he still owned slaves, and what with him owning slaves, which at the time in that area, Jefferson was one of the better slave owners. I'm not saying it was just at that time period, which we can go into another topic with that. I said it's something we
I
can
did
talk.
like the shout out during one of Jefferson's things where it's like, Sally, write this down. Because Sally Hemings was just like, oh, they didn't there. Oh, they went there.
Right?
Oh.
But then also one of my favorite songs was the 10 Duel Commandments. Wait,
Yeah.
is that am I
Yeah.
right? Oh, yeah,
That's
10
right.
Duel Commandments. Essentially telling you how to do a gentlemanly duel in song form.
Yep. And then it's counting down to the duel. It's like,
10 things you need to look out for.
And what's your favorite song?
The 10 Duel Commandments. That's what he said.
Okay, let's get the 10 seconds of that. I gotta get that program up and running again. Here we are. 10 Duel Commandments.
There are 10 things you need to know.
Okay, so it's not called 10 Duel Commandments.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
It is.
It's number 15. On
Oh, wait. Hey, Njord, go into our chat pack squares. Not private, but actual.
Fat Thor says, "Way to go, Njord."
Instead of
Yeah,
me,
for
he
getting it
promotes
back up and
Charles
running. There we go.
Lee.
All right, here we go. We're gonna do 10 Duel
I'm in
Commandments
general.
10 seconds.
Whee!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10 Duel Commandments. It's the 10 place. This is commonplace, especially between recruits. Most disputes die and no one shoots. Not before. If they don't reach a peace, that's alright. Time to get some pistols in the.
Very nice. They counted out 10 seconds for you. I know, right?
They did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9,
Potions, have we hit you up yet?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay, so Potions, what is your favorite part of the production, as well as what is your favorite song in the show?
it's a hard one because I have a nickname in other places called Angst Goblin, so I really, really, really like the really hard-hitting emotional moments, like when Philip died. I kind of wasn't expecting it. That, like him dying in his parents' arms, was just, ow.
Right.
It hurt. And then I also, one of my favorite things was Eliza in the background going, like, I'm removing myself from the narrative, and like, you don't get to know what I think, you don't get to hear, and she's mad, and the worst thing she can think of is just
Staying silent.
conceal, don't feel, essentially, like, don't let them know, as an Elsa reference. But then at the end she also goes, I'm putting myself back into the narrative because I've figured out what's truly important, and like the work that's being done is greater than everything, so tell the story. Like, that flip-flop back and forth was also one of my favorite parts. And then George Washington dictating, we're going to teach them how to say goodbye.
Yeah.
I was like, that was such a quintessential part of setting up the government, peaceful transfer of power.
Yep.
The first time that's ever happened, and the only time that's ever happened. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like I still get goosebumps just thinking about that whole exchange there, and just how beautifully executed it was, with Washington basically being calm and saying, "No, this is what we're doing," and Hamilton being like, "Oh my God," and Washington's like, "No, this is what it's supposed to be. We're going to teach them to say goodbye." And um, yeah, then the very end of how they did the duel with Aaron Burr and Hamilton as well, with the rotating stage and everything. It's just like you knew it was coming. And honestly, the song wasn't that great for that one, but the emotion was high enough so that it was just like, oh God, I don't really want it to happen, but I kind of want to see it's like a train wreck.
Right.
So, yeah. For my favorite song,
Fucking hell.
it's very difficult because there's a lot of them I liked, but I didn't really get much about what the title was. It would.
If you describe it, I'm sure someone here in the panel or audience will tell you which one it is.
Yep.
Absolutely.
There's so many of them that I just liked in general. Probably it would have to be the teaching them how to say goodbye song.
One more time.
One last time.
One last time.
All right, so here we are. We're going to do 10 seconds in 2 different spots of One Last Time.
Mr. President, you asked to see me. I know you're busy. What do you need, sir? Sir, I want to give you a word of warning. France on the verge of war. Is this the best time? I want to warn against partisan fighting. What? Pick up a pen, start writing. I want to talk about what I have learned. The hard-won wisdom I have earned.
That was longer than 20 seconds, but hey, you know, it's all good.
Don't worry, this won't be our first DMCA strike ever.
I'm honestly not worried about it. We actually have not been striked for DMCA on Twitch, so we're good.
No, YouTube, we've only been noticed like, hey, you're using copyright material over here.
Yeah, YouTube, we don't care about.
So you can't monetize, and we're like, great, we don't monetize anyway.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So I had a couple of parts that were like my actual favorite. The big thing for me was the duel between Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, right? Because
Oh God.
right? I really like that part because you had a flashback from what he was talking to his son about of, hey, you know what? Everything that you talk about will be fine, right? Or whatever it is that you guys are quarreling about, if you just shoot your firearm into the air, everything is going to be squashed and they'll shoot in the air as well, right? And for me, it was like a repeat of history, okay? That both the Hamiltons went to go shoot in the air, and the only difference, though, is Aaron Burr, it was one of those things like he went to go pull the trigger and then he noticed that Hamilton was raising his gun in the air, and like as he pulled the trigger, he's like trying to get the bullet back, right? Like, no, I didn't mean to. No, stop, right?
Aim your pistol at the sky. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think another good thing to point out about that one is the fact that he says we were near the same spot my son died.
Well, and actually it goes beyond that, right? Because throughout that song about that one instance, it was talking about how Alexander Hamilton is this decorated war veteran. He's an expert marksman. Aaron Burr is a terrible shot. Alexander Hamilton wore his glasses, so you know he's there to kill, not just for anything else, right? And throughout the entire thing, you've got Alexander Hamilton who's sitting here saying like, hey, you know, I'm not sorry for what I said because it's the truth. This is what I personally believe. I'm not taking a dig on you. I'm not trying to bash you in any specific way. This is just honestly what I believe. Like, I'm not trying to get under your skin. But Aaron Burr is just sitting here throughout the entire course of the production of thinking that Hamilton's just been in his way every single step of the way, Okay, and
he does things differently.
And it all just comes up to this part where Burr is giving out all these reasons why he's over anxious, over like prepared for this fight, and even though Hamilton raises his gun in the air, Burr can't see the body language of Hamilton until it's too late. Right? And then
the secondary song, "The World Is Wide Enough for Both of Us." Why didn't I see that? Why didn't I see that?
I was actually just getting into that.
We have a habit of stealing your thoughts, Njord. Get to know and love this fact.
Right? So, like, literally right after the shot, right, Burr comes into this spot of, wow, I didn't need to do this, right? We could have shared the limelight the entire time, but I was too focused on what you were personally doing in my head to circumvent me and put me down this entire time. Again, all of everything that I just said kind of adds up to that one moment that just, like, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
One other thing I wanted to add is one of my other favorite parts of it was how they handled duels in general. Like, the ensemble women being the bullets, like, stopping time and leading them to it. That is so cool. And
remember, everything's legal in Jersey.
Yeah, that's my favorite line.
Right? That was a good line.
Everything's legal in New Jersey.
Can I just appreciate how petty it is that he's like, here's an itemized list of 30 years of disagreements.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna read all this.
Somebody's pedantic.
But they should bring duels back. Debatable.
Duel by sword.
Debatable.
Duel by sword. I won't be duel by gun. Duel by sword. But anyway.
But
what was your favorite song then?
I was gonna get into that, but Stealth had a thought. Go ahead.
No, you can do your thing. I can discuss mine a little bit.
Are you gonna remember
more
it?
added on stuff?
Okay.
Maybe.
My favorite song, we are definitely gonna have to go back to the first act to "You'll Be Back."
Yes. My boyfriend's favorite song.
I love that one too because it's like
we're playing it on stream, by the way.
Scary.
In your tea, which you hurl in the sea when you see me go by. Why so sad? We'll send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. Da 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 da.
We'll send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. I absolutely love. So if you guys have not listened to the soundtrack, you definitely need to go listen to the song at a minimum. My recommendation, mine only. My recommendation: you need to go back and listen to every single one of King George's songs. Okay, if you want to laugh hysterically, okay, you need to go listen to those songs. 100%.
So,
Actually, all of King George's songs are kind of funny.
They're all good.
They are.
So what I was thinking is like,
Also,
so we got the Aaron Burr and Hamilton duel like you're talking about. When they first met in Act 1, Aaron Burr told Hamilton, "Shut up, like just stop talking.
Talk less. Smile
Hamilton
more.
talks. Hamilton is always just a talker. He wrote 51 pages for the Federalist Papers. More than like, what was the original going to be? Like what, 30 they were thinking of or something like that?
It was going to be 35.
89.
It was going to be 35. Ended up being 89. One individual
it
wrote
was
5.
got-
One wrote 25, and then the last wrote 51.
Yeah.
I mean, by himself, he doubled the paper. He doubled the papers of what they were going to be by himself.
Right.
Also, the
And
6
then-
hours at the convention detailing a new government. Yeah. They're like, dude,
Convention is listless. Hey, who the fuck is this?
And then we also got a point where he
he
practiced as a lawyer. He practiced as a lawyer for a little bit. Still could not talk less during that time. And at one point, he did come to Aaron Burr and say, "Hey, help me out. I will now take your advice and actually start talking less." And then after that, He did. That did happen at one point. in the
No,
movie.
but actually, what I want to get to, because you just reminded me of something real quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And then it goes to the fact of after the Reynolds, I think it was after the Reynolds pamphlet went out, is then when Hamilton actually went back into seclusion. That he kind of just at that point just kind of put himself back away. It was then both Jefferson and Aaron Burr went and said, "Hey, help me out here. Like, who are you gonna vote for in the next election?"
Right.
And
Yeah.
then that's when Aaron Burr was like, "Dude, don't be a fucking dick. Just vote for me. I'm your best friend."
Yeah, it's
But
like,
yet-
hey, obviously he's gonna pick me over Jefferson because he doesn't like that guy.
But
then
but
now,
to that
hey,
point,
here's
I'm,
Here's your 30 years of here's your item on the list. So like, you know what? You're a dick. Let's
But-
go duel.
But to that point, right? That's where I respect Alexander Hamilton, if it's historically factual, okay? Where I respect Alexander
is.
Hamilton for the fact that he stood by his principles, not just of people he liked, right? It was like,
Yep.
hey, you actually believe in something.
Like, I don't like you, but you stand for something.
And it actually states throughout the entire production, right? Like, what do you stand for? If you stand for nothing, you're going to fall for everything, right? It says that multiple times throughout the production. And it just kind of led to that. But the other thing that I was going to list as
Bring
well...
duels back to that door.
The other thing that I was going to list is that Hamilton actually gave Burr a chance to shine. And Burr rejected it. Okay? When it was defending the Constitution.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, man. I don't think this is gonna work. You know, maybe it doesn't work out, and then I don't want to be left out there being like, hey, I supported this.
Right.
Like, you
I
have a
wanna
chance
know
to
it's gonna
make it
work
what you
out
want.
before I
So
say
stand up for it.
Right. So what I'm going to do now, because we've got about 6 to 10 minutes left, is I'm going to go through each individual person, and I'm going to ask if you guys have any final thoughts or comments on our topic. So starting with Elf, any in conclusion remarks that you would like to make?
Elf daddy.
In conclusion, man, I say this often, but you know,
It fucking slaps.
everything on the soundtrack is a banger. It slaps. I mean, I've already mentioned this too. I kind of have a slight crush on Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Really? I had no clue.
But yeah, I honestly, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did when I first heard about it. But it's easily one of my favorites.
Okay. Crimson Shield Scholar, any last closing remarks on Hamilton?
Stay tuned to our YouTube content because I have a shit ton more to say on this topic, but to be respectful of everybody's time, we're not going to talk about it right now, but I could literally go through each and every song and tell you just how impressive and important it is, down to the production value and the costuming and everything. But like my favorite thing about it, which didn't really have a place in what we were talking about, is that prior to Hamilton coming out, in cards,
Pause.
Throws
there's
again.
a card
Robot.
that says
Pause.
Aaron Burr on it. It's like one of the
Okay,
white cards.
hold on. Prior
rewind.
to
Prior to
Alexander
Hamilton coming out,
Yeah.
prior to Hamilton coming out, nobody knew who Aaron Burr was, except for like history people. So whenever I would play Cards Against
Yeah.
Humanity, because there is a card in Cards Against Humanity
You can wait
called
a little bit.
Aaron Burr,
We're almost done.
everyone would be like, "Who is Aaron Burr?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's the person that killed Alexander Hamilton. Who's Alexander Hamilton?" And so they would just be like,
Wait,
"I don't know who
Alexander
this
was
is."
a president, right? No.
Yeah.
No.
So
Right.
like,
Clearly
I'm very
not.
thankful. I'm very thankful to Hamilton for me not having to explain that card and Cards Against Humanity anymore. And then the second thing that I really like about it is like, so when Hamilton came to Disney Plus, obviously it allowed a lot more people to see it. Case in point, some of you guys here. And so it made it very widely accessible. And so a lot of people did react videos to it. So when it first came out last year, I mean, it was in the height of quarantine. So I was like, I don't have anything to do, so I'm just going to sit here and watch Hamilton react videos. And the number of people, yes, I am.
I love it.
The number of people who are like, Hamilton should have known that George Washington couldn't have had a third term because presidents only have 2 terms. I was just like,
Not, yeah.
You
oh,
should absolutely have
man.
known this, guys. Honest.
And it was like more than one person that said that, and I was just like, guys, know your history. But anyway, but I appreciate
Wasn't it
Hamilton,
JFK who put that
Yeah.
in?
No,
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And
That's
I
what
think
thought.
FDR was the last one to have more than 2 terms.
FDR
Yeah,
had
times, I think.
FDR
Yeah.
had 4 terms, and then it was after FDR.
JFK was like, no, only 2.
Yeah.
It was during Truman's administration that they
That's what I
decided
thought.
to put the amendment in that said that they can only have up to 2 terms. And so, yeah, I really appreciate Hamilton for bringing history to the masses. I am definitely a history nerd and dork, and I love musical theater.
Okay,
and
then go.
go, Natalie.
Well, she wants to go to Mama.
Fine,
She's
I'll
over here
go.
playing around on camera.
Yeah.
She's probably like, okay, well,
God, why are
this
you
isn't
such a
as interesting
toddler,
as I thought.
Natalie?
Bye.
Cool.
But yeah, no, I absolutely I adore it with all of my heart, and it's just I love it, and I'm obsessed. And oh, that's really cool. He did used to go to a healing spring. It didn't work, but he did used to go.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just honestly, just keep an eye on our further content, because I hope that we can actually make this happen, and we can have many more discussions on history. and
The
Hamilton.
4 of us will
Yeah.
figure it out.
I would love
Yar.
Ouch.
So excited for that, to be honest, because history is amazing.
On that
history
note,
has its eyes on you.
on that note, Potions. Any closing remarks that you have on the topic of Hamilton?
I actually did know who Aaron Burr was because of a freaking Western Union commercial. It was back in. Hear me out. Okay, I know I am the old dog of the group now that Njord's taking Sean's thing, but seriously, so there was this old commercial where there's this guy who it opened up with he was eating a peanut butter sandwich and a big glass of milk, and his entire office was covered in Hamilton and Aaron Burr dual memorabilia and all this stuff, and he was like just knew everything about it. And there was a radio contest in the background where they're just like, you could win $10 million if you can answer this question correctly. And they put the question, who was the duelist against Alexander Hamilton? And the guy had this giant mouthful of a peanut butter sandwich, and he's going, and then they're just like, I'm sorry, caller, I can't hear. And then he's just like,
That's so sad.
yeah, but it was because of that freaking commercial I even knew who Aaron Burr was. So I'm just like,
Heart.
this is kind of cool. I get to know a little bit more. Just thank you, pop culture. Yes, I
awesome.
know I'm old. All y'all are babies.
No, actually, I remember that commercial.
You do?
Yes.
I mean, there's an
Aw.
actual baby on camera now, so.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
All right.
Oh, wait. Did you guys hear that there's a camel named Alexander Camilton?
No.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, there is, and it's amazing. Okay.
Oh,
I
God.
know,
That's enough
I know,
internet for
me.
today.
Yes, Natalie.
I mean,
I need-
I won a giveaway, and I'm getting a William Quackspear. Quackspear. I will show it on camera whenever I get it.
Nice.
Hey, leave it alone. As a rubber ducky who looks like William Shakespeare.
Nice. All right.
That's
but-
awesome.
Quack or not to quack? That is the question.
All
So-
right, Stealth. Any closing remarks that you have on the topic of Hamilton?
The thing I have to share, because my friend, she said this straight up, my Shakespeare friend, and the Heights was better. Is what
No,
she
it
said.
wasn't.
That's what she said.
No.
Okay, how about
I
some
can-
original,
I'm
personal
checking out.
Stealth Dad closing
I
remarks?
can introduce you to her, and then you can fight it about it. But
Ooh.
so I knew nothing about this. The things I did know is that Alexander Hamilton was never a president. He was the father of our, technically the father of our banking system. I did not know who Aaron Burr was. I knew who Lafayette was, and also our schools do not do a justice to Alexander Hamilton or anyone who is not a president,
Right.
because
Yeah.
he did so much more than what we are told or taught about at all, and he he is not given justice.
Well, I mean,
So
they
I
did
would
mention that at the end too, with the every other founding father story gets told.
well most besides Ben Franklin, most of the founding fathers end up being a president. So that's why their stories kind of do get told. But like I said, Alexander Hamilton, his story doesn't really get told because he wasn't president. Ben Franklin, he was a smart guy who just did a lot. That's why his story got told. And yes, Alexander did do a lot, just apparently wasn't the right things. So, but yes, I would recommend this movie to people, and it was a fun watch. Or the
Okay,
play if it ever comes around.
Crimson, question. Hamilton, was he the one who started the whole spy ring system in the American Revolution?
Mm-mm.
No?
I don't think he was.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Oh, hey, quick. Potions, you cannot be that old. Fat Thor is the comment of the night.
You cannot be that old.
Oceans is like, we have to cover this again. Oh no.
Oh, my sweet summer child. Out of this group on camera, I can assure you, I indeed am that old.
You're the
I
oldest.
think I'm like the second oldest, aren't I? Yeah, because Njord's not 32 yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm on the downward slide towards 40, man.
My closing remarks. An individual who is very picky about what I watch. Big oof.
Stop it.
I 100% recommend this production. It is catchy. It is definitely not what you think of when you think of musical. Okay. I know when I think of musical, sometimes some of the first things that come to my mind is like Phantom of the Opera, which I have seen that on Broadway.
Jelly.
It was actually really cool. Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I also think I've also seen Wicked in person a couple times actually, right? But when you think of musical, I still to this moment would not put Hamilton into that genre of what I classify as a musical. Okay, this is beyond entertainment. It's not only educational and it makes you want to learn about it, but it definitely captures you almost every step of the way. If you are in our chat right now, if you're coming back through watching it on YouTube, or you're watching our VOD, I'm telling you, you need to go give it a shot. Okay, I was one of these individuals. I did not want to give it a chance.
Njord.
What?
You mean they shouldn't throw away their shot?
Exactly.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Nice. But I was definitely one of these individuals that did not want to sit here and watch it. I was kicking. I was throwing a tantrum in my own personal life. I was dragging my feet. I was doing everything that I could not to watch Hamilton. I will watch this again many more times. Okay.
Yay!
Trust me, my choices are unconventional but good.
100% I recommend. Please, please, please go watch this. You will not be disappointed. Likewise, if this has gotten you onto the American Revolution bandwagon at the moment that you want to go watch some other stuff, Netflix has a really good series out called Turn. I don't know if you've seen it.
It's so good.
Go watch it. That's actually why I asked you about the whole spy ring in Hamilton, right?
Sam Culper.
Go watch Turn. It's
Sam
great.
Culper is the guy, but that's a pseudonym. But that's like the guy that you would know would be
Right.
Sam Culper.
Right. But yeah, that's my closing thoughts. Actually, I did want to point out one thing that I caught as an oops, right? And I don't care who you are. I don't care what stage performance you watch. Anytime you see one, you will see an oops because it's human. Okay. When when Washington sends the letter to bring Hamilton back to the front lines, right? And it kind of goes around the staircase. I literally thought until one specific point in time that they were handing off the same letter to each people, right? Like the visual effects. But then it gets to the far right-hand corner of the upper terrace, and you see a woman who hands it off, but still has it in her hand and is holding it in front of her, and it goes, "Oh shit!" and hides it behind her. It made me laugh. It really did.
You weren't supposed to see that,
right?
That's funny.
But like I said, I don't care. I don't care what professional stage performance you go see. There, people make mistakes. It's inevitable. Okay.
It's part of the show.
And it's fun to try to find.
It's gonna be cursed.
It's also fun to try to point them out, right? Without degrading the people. Okay. Again, remember the amount of hard work that they put in to run this production. Okay, it takes skill. It takes time. It takes dedication. I don't care whether you like the production or not. You got to give credit where credit's due, and any performance that is actually put on stage for a viewer entertainment needs to have some kind of appreciation. And yes, I'm a little biased in that myself personally. But those are my closing thoughts on Hamilton. Do you guys? So we have Crimson Shield Scholar picking our next topic. And are we going to be on next week or the week after?
Next week.
Next week.
Yeah, next week.
Okay. So next Thursday.
It depends what time.
Okay.
It depends what time. Because if you need to do early, if you need to do 7:30, I can't do that because I have a performance.
Okay.
I thought we were moving to Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Same, but different, you know.
Are you available Saturday? Not this upcoming Saturday, but the following Saturday?
Or, well, then, if we're going to the dot talk, we'll also have to talk to Potions about that. But let's get into Crimson's topic first, do our outros, and then we can talk about scheduling afterwards.
Got it.
Yeah.
What is your topic for our next episode?
I'm going to do Dragon Age.
Dragon Age. So make sure to stay tuned for our next episode. We're going to be discussing Dragon Age.
Which
Origin.
one? Okay,
I see you.
Dragon Age Origins.
I'm gonna go back and play it again.
Before we get out of here, there's a couple things that we need to go through. Again, we are Shadowpack Gaming. What is Shadowpack Gaming? We're a team of like-minded individuals who create some kind of content, whether it be fitness streams, podcasts, topical discussions, or video game streaming. And we share the same common goal of pushing each other to be better tomorrow than we are today. If you are interested in learning more about Shadowpack Gaming, please look at chat right now. There is our website. That is our one-stop shop for everything Shadowpack Gaming. Also, if you're interested in joining Shadowpack Gaming, just hit the Join Pack tab, fill out the interest card, and someone will be in contact with you shortly. Make sure you're keeping up to tabs with us, right? You're going to find out when we're going to be going live next if you go right now over to our Twitter. Hit that, make sure to follow it, and we'll notify you when we're going live, and also remind you guys we're going to be talking about Dragon Age Origins. Also, if you're not into Gamerize just yet, you should be. Gamerize, it's a social media network made for gamers by gamers. They're essentially Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all mixed up into one. Like I said, for gamers by gamers. Here's our link if you want a really quick way to join in.
And to let you know, they are in the process of getting an app out.
Yes.
They are seriously in the process. Like, we know they are in the process of writing it and getting final details going.
They absolutely are.
Yep. And they also have something called Pro. And if you use our affiliate link, we do get a little bit of kickback for that. And we would love the support.
100%.
I know. Give me a second.
Now, let's go through and meet and figure out how to follow and keep up to date with each one of our panelists. Starting with Elf Daddy. Elf Daddy, where can they find you?
I am Elf Daddy with 2 underscores on Twitch. Elf Daddy on Discord. I am UTOG1 on Twitter because somebody else took Elf Daddy apparently. I am Yuki Rutherford on Gamerize and Facebook. Instagram, I believe, is elfdaddyttv.
What about your TikTok?
My TikTok is also elfdaddy.
TikTok.
I didn't have to write it down this time. I remembered it.
You know, I'm really proud of you, actually.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, also we got us.
It only
Also,
took 3 seasons.
he also didn't have us over here like, aren't you this over here? Aren't you this over here? Really?
Yeah, like, you guys, I don't remember my social media. What is this?
Next, we've got the
Proud of you.
ever-learned Crimson Shield Scholar. Crimson, where can they find you?
I have a brand, so I am Crimson Shield Scholar on any social media network that you would like to find me on. My Twitch is Crimson Shield Scholar, my YouTube is Crimson Shield Scholar, my Gamer Eyes is Crimson Shield Scholar, my Instagram is Crimson Shield Scholar, my Twitter is Crimson S Scholar because yay, character limitations. And then I am Caitlin on Discord. If you join our Discord, that would be my name.
Awesome, awesome. The ever-hilarious Potions, where can they find you?
Well,
Pickle.
let me tell you.
There's the name on all the websites that is known as.
It's hilarious.
You broke her, you fix her.
All right.
Oh, I'm ticklish.
But no one's tickling you unless there's like a ghost in your house.
No, never mind.
Is Cortana doing tickling you over
I
there?
don't understand what
Rubbing
tickling.
her nose everywhere?
Don't
Get a big
touch
one.
me. I'm ticklish. Like, don't touch me. I tickle. I'm ticklish. Anyways, topic. Socials. I know what I'm talking about. Mouth words. Why are they hard today? I'm Potions Master 66 on Twitch, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Insta, and Gamerized. And I'm different on Discord. I am Potions Master, no numbers, all lowercase, one word.
Awesome. Stealth Dad, the jungle
But wait
gym
a
of a
minute.
father.
Oh, wait a minute. Doesn't Potions also have a TikTok?
All right, yeah, I'm Potions Master 66 on Tickety Talk.
I mean, we could also go over to the Etsy store too. I'm looking for Potions Master.
Nah, no, I don't have that.
Oh no, sorry, it was Pinterest that I found somewhere else.
How did you find me on fucking Pinterest?
I just put your name in the search bar in Google.
Wow.
OMG.
Wow.
It's on.
Stealth Dad is
Also on
Stealth
Tumblr.
Stalker.
Yep, he is a stealth stalker.
Anywho, Stealth Dad, the ever amazing revolving jungle gym of a father. Where can they find you?
Twitch. Let me think. Twitch, Instagram. I'm known as Stealth Dad. ST3alth Dad. And then on Twitter, I am Stealth Dad 1, spelled the same, but let's say 3 and 7E, but with 1 at the end. I am Stealth Dad on TikTok, also. YouTube, I am Stealth King 500 because I have not figured out how to change that name. I've done it once before and I just could not figure out how to change the name again. And then Facebook, I really don't do much on my gaming side or my streaming side on Facebook, so that's why I don't use that one for that.
Alright. And I, as you guys know, I am NjordGod. It says it right above me, right here.
And you have a pickle.
And I had a pickle! This is just awesome. I love it, the pickle thing. You guys can find me on Twitter at NjordGod. You can find me on Discord, NjordGod #6334. I'm not gonna go with the hashtag. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm too old. For
Number
that.
sign. Numerical sign.
It's a pound sign, okay?
Numer-
Don't give me that
Just a
learned eye.
tic-tac-toe.
It's a tic-tac-toe, right? So, Twitter, at NjordGod. You've got Discord, NjordGod6334. I have a TikTok, NjordGod. I have Instagram, NjordGod.
Instagram. And Gamers.
And Gamerise, NjordGod.
Hey!
I'm
They're
NjordGod.
calling you Pickle God.
Right? Thank you guys very much for taking some time out of your day today to learn a little bit about Hamilton and our reactions. We do hope that you guys will stick around and join us next week for Dragon Age Origins, which is Crimson's topic of the week. And are we still doing the until next time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
We are Shadow Pack Squares, and as always, until next time, guys,
Stay sharp.
stay
Stay sharp.
I thought it. Yeah.